Writing and delivering an impactful speech can be really hard. I developed a 10-step process that helps you to make it really easy and tangible, and to take the guesswork out of speaking. Because speaking isn't rocket science. It is something that can be learned and practiced and mastered. I'm going to share 4 steps with you today. The first step is find your core message. Now, I don't know about you, but the speakers I work with all struggle with the same thing. And that is their primal scream, "I have so much to say!" And then they freeze and are paralyzed and don't know where to start. So what they do is they put everything in. So they go wide instead of deep. Now, the problem with that is if you go wide instead of deep, you will overwhelm your audience. And what does an overwhelmed audience do? They go numb. Because we're all, energy-saving creatures, and if we feel overwhelmed, we shut our brains off. So you get all these really kind of weird looks, because we just can't grasp what you have to say. So that's why it's really important that you nail your topic down to your core message. Now, what do I mean by that? There's a difference between your topic and your core message. Let's take Brené Brown's famous talk, The Power of Vulnerability. Now, her topic is vulnerability, very broad. Her core message or her through line is vulnerability is something to be treasured, not to be afraid of. Now, everything that she puts into her talk relates to the core message. So the core message or the through line, in a way, is the one thing that you want your audience to remember. And then you can be very specific when you speak. So that's your first step. Remember and find your core message. Second step, use a structure that takes your audience on an emotional journey. Don't just throw stuff at them. Be very precise and specific when it comes to this emotional journey, because your audience wants to feel something. And when they feel something, you know that you've made an impact. Now, there are many, many structures out there. And the good news is there's no such thing as the right structure or the perfect structure. But there are structures that help you to take your audience on that journey. I'm going to introduce one of them to you. And this is called the quest. And by the way, many TED Talks are structured that way. Now, the quest starts with something that we call balance, harmony, something that feels really good to your audience. So you want your audience to go, yeah, this feels good, and they kind of bathe in that sensation of, yes. Now, because we want to take them on an emotional journey, we now have to introduce something that we call, or that can be called a threat. Or an incident, something that threatens that beautiful, nice, warm, fuzzy, cozy feeling inside. So your audience goes, ooh, no, not good. Or that creates some sort of suspense where they go, oh my God, what's going to happen next? And now, you've taken them from I feel good, it's all perfect, to there's a threat, an incident. And now you introduce the new world order. Now you introduce your solution. You introduce a new situation. So something where they go, yes, that's what we want. And the reason why they will want your solution is because you have taken them from I feel good to now there's a threat to that, well-being, to here's my solution to that problem. Now, I said I would introduce just one structure. I'm just going to give you another one, just because it's that kind of day today. The second structure that you could use is called the vision. And many great speeches are structured that way. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream is structured that way. Steve Jobs' 2007 keynote, where he introduces the iPhone, is structured that way. And the vision is really useful if you want to win people over for a new idea, if you really want to motivate them. The vision works with contrast. So you establish a gap in a way. So you go from what is down here to what could be. So for example, sometimes when I pitch, and then you take them back down, by the way. So sometimes when I pitch, I use that structure. And I start with what is. So every day in your company, 300 presentations are being held. And I dare to say, most of them are boring and irrelevant. Now people nod. Yeah. So now I take them up to what could be. What would it feel like if we could establish a presentation format that would cut your presentation time in half and have people actually learn and remember things? Yes, now they nod. I have yet to meet a person that says, you know what, I don't want that. I prefer the boring stuff. So now I've taken them from down here to yoo-hoo, up here. And now I take them back down. I know you've tried this. You've spent hundreds and thousands of dollars or euros or wherever you are on trainings, coachings, workshops. And still, you're wasting so much time in meetings with all these boring presentations. Yeah, now they feel the pain again. And then I take them back up. Now, what if? And then I describe what could be. Yes. And I could take them back down and describe the pain again. And then I take them back up. And then at some point, I will describe the new world order. I will pitch my program. Another contrast I could use is problem, solution. I could use pain, gain. I could use roadblock, solution, for example. Right? As long as I work with contrast, I will take people on an emotional journey. And that is so important. Because again, if they don't feel anything, they will not buy from you. They will not remember you. You will be just some woman or some guy who said something. And you will lose them. Now, the third element that you need to add is the human element, which is, you might have guessed, story. Stories are so incredibly important, and we could do an entire training on stories. Here's the one thing that you need to remember when it comes to a story. Make it tangible. What did things feel like? What did they look like? What was the smell? What were the sensations? So make it tangible so people can feel something. So for instance, I could just say, when I talk about stage fright and how I used to feel when I had to step on stage, I could just say, I saw the stage and I really didn't want to do it. I really didn't want to do it. I just wanted to keep sitting there and hiding. People will go, yeah, I can relate. Or I could say, I remember that one day I was supposed to give a speech. And the organizer called my name, and I got up, and I saw the stairs, the steps leading up to the stage. I could feel the dry air, and the warmth of the lights. I could sense the whisper of the audience, the shoveling in the seats. And my stomach was in knots. I could feel my palms sweat. And all I could think was, I really don't want to do this. I really want to go home and hide under the bed. But I didn't. I gathered up all my courage and I walked up to the stage with the lights and the audience in my back and the heat in my face. And I just did it. That's very different than just saying, you know what, I was really nervous when I had to step on stage. So add sensations, and that will make your story way more relatable. So that's number 3. Number 4 is the delivery. And here's something interesting that I notice with my speakers. Oftentimes, speakers want to focus on the content. So they spend so much time on the structure and what to put in, and that's really valid. Yet, the delivery part is just as important. And when I say delivery, I mean, how do you hold yourself? What does your voice sound like? Because, let's be honest, the best content doesn't work if you mumble away. The best content doesn't work if you are too quiet. So when you speak, make sure that you speak loud and that you stand tall. You have to own the room. And I don't mean control the room, because I don't think we can ever control the room, but own the room, meaning be responsive. And use your voice in a way that draws people in. So make sure you use a lot of variety. And that is the opposite of mumbling or monotone. So, for instance, if I stood here and I said, oh yeah, my name is Britta, I'm really excited. Public speaking is one of the most powerful tools you can use to grow your business and make an impact. People will go, ooh, I don't believe you. But if I say, public speaking is one of the most important tools when it comes to growing your business and making an impact, you will probably feel way more drawn in, because I use variety. I let my voice dance. One of the reasons, by the way, why Steve Jobs was considered such a powerful speaker is because he did use a lot of variety. He made up for many things simply by using a lot of variety in his voice. So make sure that you let your voice dance. Also, avoid fillers. The more fillers you use, the less powerful you are. So instead, breathe, think, and then keep speaking. And then your message will be very powerful and really land in your audience's ear. And they will remember you. And that is what we want to do as speakers. Stand tall, speak loud, own the room, and make an impact. My name is Britta Seeger-Wenske, and if you want to become a more powerful speaker, book a call and then we can take the next steps together.